I would now open the floor. So to any questions, please feel welcome to ask Professor Jenny questions. Please, yeah, Professor Carlos Noronha.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is really a great pleasure to be here, right, with Father Roughlin and Jenny. And maybe I think, Jenny, you can talk a little bit more about the CSR reporting, right? Because we have a number of people attending on the web, and we talked about our research based on CSR reporting and the content analysis. So on the academic side, right, probably can you give a little bit of insight or input into this area about actually what kind of research we are doing concerning the analysis of published reports, CSR reports, and so on. And the other question, not question, just a topic for sharing, is about the award, of course, right? That we have those 5 core ideas from Father Deignan, and also we have added an enhancing value, right? So maybe you can give some probably more concrete ideas about how can people, I mean companies, SMEs that are applying for this award to demonstrate in a better way how they are achieving this 5+1 core values toward this award. Thank you very much.
Great, and I just add the question we received from Professor Spooner, the relationship also between CSR and the SDGs.
Thank you for the questions. I may talk about more related to the CSR reporting from the academic perspective. So as mentioned by Professor Noronha, in recent years, our research team keep putting effort in this part of the research, not only based on the qualitative approach, but also the quantitative approach as well. And for the qualitative side, we conduct a lot of content analysis based on the information disclosed by the companies. And through some kind of software or manually collected primary qualitative data, we may apply some kind of an analysis method, like, for example, thematic analysis through a bunch of large quantity of qualitative data. We try to identify some clues and some trend to understand the motivation behind the information being disclosed. And through this way, actually, we can identify a lot of useful and new insights, and to understand the needs of the reporting entity as well as the needs of the readers. For the needs of the readers and the different stakeholders, maybe we conduct research from by using the interviews or focus group interviews as well. And but for quantitative research, our coverage may be broad. Like we use capital market data, which contains more than thousands enterprises information. Through those financial or quantitative information, we try to dig out some phenomena behind and try to find out the reasons which drive these phenomena. So these are the researches we are conducting, and the overall objective is try to help to promote or help to let more people know about those emerging issues in the CSR areas. And for the question asked by another professor, the relationship between CSR and sustainable goods, actually they have a large common areas, and sometimes they are in. What I can say is they are interrelated, and in very first times, the concept have been mentioned. People called it CSR, corporate social responsibilities. And in recent 20 to 10 years, we start to think about these socially responsible work and activities can help the enterprises or public companies to sustain for a long-term operation. Then people start to use sustainability as the keyword for this part of the concept. But actually they are interrelated and have a majority of the common areas. And for the third question raised by Professor Noronha, like how can these core values being demonstrated by those applicants? We highly encourage them when they provide those evidence file or provide the information related to their CSR performance. They can match with the specific core value or dimensions. For example, we're talking about the respecting environment dimension. Respecting environment, that is the third core value. And within this core value, we may have some sub-dimensions like environmental responsibilities, sustainable environmental actions. I can use the hospitality industry as an example. For environmental responsibilities, we know that we may have a lot of waste food from this industry every day. So what these companies dealing with this waste food, and this is part of the responsible environmental responsibilities, right? How can they minimize the negative environmental impact during their business operations? This is the key issue. So the materials and evidence file you provided can demonstrate this point and match with a particular core value or subdimensions required in the criteria part. So, and for sustainable environmental actions, for example, I have mentioned just now, many hotels, they start to change their lighting system using the smart system, or even install some solar equipments, absorb the sunlight during the daytime. And these kind of actions can help to sustain their business operation, can save a lot of costs for the long run. And although this part cannot be, the tangible return cannot be immediately observed, but for long run, of course, organizations can benefit a lot. And also they contribute to the reduction in the carbon emission as well, and the energy consumption issues. Yeah, thank you.
Great. So because our forum has been a little bit disrupted by the TV, I think we can still, you can address the further questions by Professor Paul Spooner, who is defining a CSR and SDG. And it's also the other question from Sandy, how local SMEs can learn and further adopt the international CSR standards. So if you maybe can also wrap up this forum by addressing also these issues.
Okay, maybe I can answer Sandy's question first. And as I mentioned in the first part, for those United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, we can see there are 17 different goals introduced by the United Nations. For SMEs, although they have a relatively small business scale, but they can identify themselves in a particular industry, right? So we understand that these SMEs, they have very limited resources. They may not have a quick improvement in the sustainability or the CSR field, but they can set some priorities, can conduct step-by-step progress in these areas. Like the retail industry, we know that many of the SMEs in Hong Kong and Macau belongs to retail industries. And you may start from the employee side or provide a better working environment to your staff and help to reinforce their loyalty. We believe that in the short run, you may identify some benefits, like the staff will work more proactively and will behave towards the best interest of your business. That's a very obvious benefits that you may expect it. And a lot of researchers have proved this kind of CSR performance can help to reinforce the loyalty of the staff and reinforce the business performance. And also provide more trainings to the team members, no matter it's junior level managers or middle level managers, as well as some frontline staff. Education always become one part of a good method to practice. And actually, the government also encourage the local employee and the local SMEs to be further educated. And they also provide a lot of training resources to our SMEs. So this part of resources is not difficult to obtain from the outside parties, for example, the government or related education institutes. Okay? And the responsible consumption and production, this is also important. For example, we know that the pandemic make many types of the business switch to the online mode, especially the retail and the wholesale industries. People start to like request and purchase products through mobile apps or online platforms. So how can you develop new business operating methods to cope with these changes? And throughout the online mode or hybrid mode of the sales, how can you ensure your responsibility and improve your service, improve your after sales communication with the customers? So these are very important and should be put in the first priority of your business. So all these I mentioned, like the education, responsible consumptions, and decent work and economic growth, is not too difficult for the SMEs to improve in these areas. Thank you.
Just the question from the president of the SMEs from Macau, Stanley Au, I think it's important we provide these application forms bilingual. I think it's very important that no matter Chinese and English, this application could be done. But I also want, maybe as the Professor Funandu has a question on these indexes available to customers to measure a company CSR performance. Maybe we conclude with this question from Professor Funandu.
Sorry, may I?
Art, yeah.
I missed. I can't catch the questions. Can
Yeah, the question is again from Professor Funandu. Are there any indexes available to customers to measure a company CSR performance?
Indexes. Actually, there are many different indexes or criteria or CSR ranking systems by different types of the organization all over the world. And but there is it's like the accounting standards, which is generally accepted worldwide. For the CSR indexes, maybe that question is really good because we always think about how can we develop or try to encourage governments or related regulatory body to develop a set of common or generally accepted CSR evaluation system in the Greater Bay areas or maybe in Macau as well. Yeah,
that's right. And I can also refer to the Global Compact is in the 10 principles of CSR. Also, I have made a research about 10 years of implementation of Global Compact. And we have seen United Nations always gives us a certain reference for the further development. So still, I think there would be many questions, so to speak, unanswered, but I would really thank you, Professor Wang, for this comprehensive insight. And then you have seen in the background, we have further material. So this is also available in Chinese, now Fantizi in traditional Chinese characters about these main principles of business ethics. And then we have the Macau Manifesto in the context of this economy of Francesco, how to develop a new paradigm. And we will continue this debate so that more and more people feel truly warmly invited to join this competition as a way to better implement CSR, as you have, I think, shown in a very convincing way. So thank you very much, and I hope then to see you. The next debate will be on May 25th. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your attending this.
Thank you. Thank you.